So welcome. Tonight I'm planning to read chapter 2 of the book that I wrote and also talk about some of the journaling that I've done over the 1996 and 1997. A lot of the stuff I might read a little bit from the journal. And if you have any questions, welcome to the show, and just type in the chat what your thoughts are about whatever I'm saying or about anything, and I can see what's going on my phone and also on the computer monitor over there. And it's going to be just have a good time. So I've been doing this on Friday nights, and you can check other stuff that I've done out and what other people are doing on Discord, and there's a Reddit channel also. But this YouTube channel is the main place I have for video, Okay, I'm gonna put my phone on the live stream right now, and then go from there. Let me just get to the place on my phone, my videos. Here, okay. So there we go. So I can see the chat, anything you chat here also. So it's been a good week for me, and this is something I like to do. So starting up, chapter 2, training tips to go out of body. I'll move this a little bit closer. All right. Let's see, I've gone out of body over 100 times. My first time was in 1996, and I summarized like the 3 stages of out of body experiences. The first stage being learning to go out of body and kind of staying close to your body in your house. And I labeled that the first stage of out of body experiences. This is a little brief introduction. Second stage of out of body experiences I called leaving your house and going out into the universe and meeting other beings. And the third stage of out-of-body experiences is the oneness, what I termed when you see the energy in another being as the same as what's coming out of you. So starting with chapter 2, 1 week or 2 weeks ago I read chapter 1 in the introduction of the book. So chapter 2, training tips to go out of body. The book is like 77 pages. Some of the key things for my learning to go out of body were to have a room, have an area, and this is what you can do. You can have your bedroom and block out the light in the bedroom so there's no distractions coming in through the windows. And I'm reading, so if my eyes are looking down, that's just how it is. If you can, maybe put some block out the windows, whether it's using aluminum foil or just some black cloth or some drapes over the windows, or block out the windows. Get most of the electronics out of the room so there's less distractions. This is the chapter training tips to go out of body. So you got to prepare your space. If you have a music player, or you can play some meditation or soft music that could guide you into different states of awareness, it's good to have some kind of music to help you maintain awareness when you're relaxing. So I used MetaMusic by the Monroe Institute. It's a trademark, or it's a word they trademarked for different authors and different musicians create music, and then they collaborate with the Monroe Institute to add binaural beats to the music so that you can relax and enter different states of awareness using sound. So I use MetaMusic by the Monroe Institute, and the brand is also called Hemi-Sync, short for hemispheric synchronization. I use different music and MetaMusic to learn to maintain my focus, my awareness, and I relaxed. The more into relaxing you get, the deeper you get relaxed. The more likely the more into relaxing you get, the deeper you get relaxed, and the more likely you're just going to fall asleep. So what I would do is every day I would start meditating at 8 p.m. in the evening, and I'd fall asleep meditating. And then I was going to college at the time, so I'd wake up at 4 in the morning and I'd start studying for my classes. So every night I would, around 8 or 9 p.m., I'd just sit and meditate or lay down and meditate, and I'd listen to some guidance or music and some binaural beats to train my brain, to train my awareness to function without using my brain. It's as you learn about out-of-body experiences, you want to learn to be alert without activating your physical body. So that's what I was doing with this kind of music. And when you listen to music, you activate your astral body, which is your soul, which is, there are many bodies that overlap over the physical body. As you listen to music, it triggers your emotions and also opens ways for energy to flow through your body, which allows you to go out of body easier. So if you can listen to some music, and then even if there's some binaural beats or some other entrainment, some other way of progressing in your ability to focus, then that's a good thing. Or you could even just count your breathing, or the inflow and the outflow of your breath. You can just focus on that. That's a good way to relax and meditate at the same time, to potentially have an out-of-body experience, or at least to notice the energy movement in and around your body and see what's happening. Okay. So I was going to college at the time, so I'd wake up at 4 in the morning and I'd start studying for classes. So I'd do all my studying in the morning. I'd chill out in the evening and I'd meditate, and then I'd wake up in the morning and study. I'd read my whatever chapters I had for homework and textbooks I needed to read. I'd do that in the morning. And it took me about 8 months to have some kind of out-of-body experience. So what I recommend for you to learn to go out of body is associate with other people who are doing this. Either online, watch YouTube videos, read some books on out-of-body experiences, check out the videos I've created. There's a channel I created called Out-of-Body Experiences with Paul, and it's linked through this channel to, it's one of the channels that this Out-of-Body Journal follows, the Out-of-Body Experiences with Paul. Or there's a playlist I've tagged called Great People's Playlist, and there's a bunch of what I call great people, people who have had some kind of experience in the multi-dimensional or out-of-body world, and you could watch those videos by other experts also. So set up your space where you're planning to go out of body or to have these kind of experiences. Set the intention of the kinds of beings or the experiences you'd like to have, or the energies you'd like to connect with or associate with. The universe is a big place, and you can connect with all different kinds of beings and different kinds of energies and have different experiences. So set some intention, go into it with some expected outcome. Okay? Have a room or an area where you can lie down flat and don't use a pillow. I felt using a pillow kept my head propped up and kept me from relaxing and releasing in the neck and the head area. So my suggestion is don't use a pillow. I used to keep my arms by my sides, and I'd place my hands palm up, like in yoga they teach you the Savasana or the relaxation pose, and that's what I'd use with my palms face up, about a foot from the body, about a foot from your waist. Or you could have your palms here, or you could have them on your stomach area, or you could have them on your hips. Just find a good spot for your hands to relax. So I tried all different kinds and ways of laying down on the bed and sleeping, and I found that I could go out of body in all kinds of positions. It didn't matter if I was on my side or on my back or on my stomach. I felt that I could go out. I found that I could go out of body no matter the direction that I slept. But I found over time that the easiest way to go out of body was to be on my back, the more consistent way. Sometimes I'd shift and move in the bed to get my mind to leave me alone. So if your mind is running, you can shift around to try and distract your mind. Because sometimes if you shift, then you can distract your mind, and I rotated my direction that my feet might point from north to south, east to west. So I tried laying down in all different kinds of directions in relation to the north, south, east, west. I tried all different kinds of directions to see if there was some kind of better direction to be lined up to out of body. Right now, a lot of times I like to sleep with my feet to the south and my head to the north. So That's my preferred direction. If you think of energy from the Earth coming out of the South Pole and riding along the surface of the Earth all the way to the North Pole, the energy comes from the Sun to the South Pole and then goes along it to the North Pole. So there's a flow in the energy around the Earth. So if you point your feet to the south, you can imagine the energy coming in through your feet and then out your head. And that might help you rise up out of the body from your feet to your head. So you're in your room, you're laying down, and things are quiet. You can have some headphones on and listen to MetaMusic or whatever binaural beats you think will help you to focus or put you in a mood. And if you're practicing with some kind of music, sometimes it's good for guidance to keep your mind active while your body's relaxing. So what this does, for example, MetaMusic will train you to be in a certain brainwave state for an extended period of time. MetaMusic tracks are usually 45 minutes long. Each track is specific to a particular set of natural frequencies so that you get familiar with them and you can maintain your awareness in that state without falling asleep. You get familiar with the feeling of being in that state. And there are all different kinds of binaural beat frequencies on YouTube and on the internet. So those will work also for training you to get familiar with the feeling so that when you're there naturally, it's okay, everything's good. Also, when you're not listening to the music in the future, you can notice the onset of that state and you can actively take action in that state. So I'm reading to you the second chapter of this book, and I'll eventually read all the chapters here online, and so that you can go back and listen to this and maybe pick up pointers and tips for you when you're trying to either have new kinds of experiences or to just learn to go out of body for the first time. I'm sharing my experiences. So the brain, it functions on all the different frequencies all at once. So alpha, beta, theta, delta, you're at all the states all the time throughout the day and even when you're asleep. But you're predominantly more active in a certain brainwave range, whether it's alpha, which is a creative brainwave state, or a beta, which is awake and moving, an active brainwave state, or in sleep, deep sleep, maybe I think they're theta and delta. There's some other brainwaves that are more relaxed and less active mentally and physically than the alpha and the beta brainwave state. So we function in all these different brainwave states throughout the day and when we sleep, but we're more specifically in one than another. Okay? When you're awake, you're more in the beta and alpha state. When you're asleep, you're more in the theta and maybe some of the others. But naturally, organically, we're in all these different brainwave states at all the time. But if you're listening to a certain kind of music that's focused with a binaural beat, it'll keep you in a specific brainwave frequency for an extended period of time, and you get really comfortable with being there. I'll explain this in a minute. So that when you're in your sleep state, in your theta or delta, you can maintain awareness. Binaural beats are, if you have a sound in one side of the brain, it creates a certain vibration. And if you have a different sound in another side of your, two different sounds, right? Music, we're talking sound. So a sound in this ear and then a different sound in the other ear. Okay? And if the vibrations of the sounds are different, then the two will interact across the corpus callosum or somewhere in the brain, like the auditory areas will communicate and cross in the brain, and they'll create a third vibration, the interaction of the two sounds. So that's the beat of the binaural beat, and that vibration when you're in a deep sleep state will be a certain kind of vibration. So that if you create music with those vibrations that will put you in a deep sleep state, it'll mimic what you're experiencing in a deep sleep state. And you can do it for an awaking state and vibration. So that's what these binaural beats do. It's like an artificial feeling in your brain, vibration that mimics what you would experience naturally when you're in those states. So if you get familiar with these feelings, you can notice them in a conscious way, in a waking state way. Say if you're almost in a deep sleep and you remember the feeling that you're having, that's that you were trained for while listening to the binaural beats or whatever, it helps you to learn to maintain awareness in the deep sleep states or in these different brainwave states. So if you're listening to binaural beats, use headphones because you need to isolate the sound to the two ears, okay? Beyond that, another trick is to wake up early in the morning. Go to sleep when you normally do, but wake up early in the morning so your body will still be tired, like 3 or 4 in the morning. So if you go to bed at 8 o'clock and you normally wake up at 7 in the morning, you can wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, or even 4, and stay up for 15 to 20 minutes, long enough for your mind to wake up. You can go to the bathroom, do what you need to do in the morning, at 2 in the morning or whatever, and lay down and start meditating on your back with your hands by your sides and maybe your feet slightly apart. You know, you can do it with clothes on or you can do it without clothes on. Just cover your body so that the energy kind of permeates your whole body with a sheet or a blanket, you know? The less things that are touching you or touching your neck, the less distraction there's going to be. You know, you want to be relaxed and not have anything triggering your awareness to your body. In yoga, it's called Savasana pose, how you're laying down on your back. And then you can lay down on any side, but I found that it's easiest and most comfortable to lay down on your back. You can talk to a yoga teacher and they'll teach you how to do the pose. It's just your hands by your sides, a little bit, maybe half a foot to a foot away from your body, and your feet slightly apart. Your head relaxed back on the mattress. So with that, you might have your earbud headphones on, listening to some music or MetaMusic or binaural beats, and that will guide you and it will bring you into a certain brainwave state. So you can meditate with the music, or you can meditate without, or you can also meditate sitting. To get an experience or to go out of body while sitting, I haven't had that experience. I've had, in Vipassana meditation, I've had amazing energy go through the body, but that took 4 days, you know, of sitting, 10 hours a day. So you can meditate sitting, but you're not going to get the same experiences if you meditate laying down. But the trick about meditating laying down is there's a potential to go to sleep, and that's all right. That's all right. And you just keep doing that night by night or day by day, and over time you'll learn to notice the energy movements and changes. But if you can listen to music that you can at least follow with your mind, you know, kind of get into the music, it'll help you maintain your awareness. Okay? So those are some of the tricks I used to go out of body. It took me 8 months for my initial sleep paralysis experience, which happened in the springtime of I think it was the early spring of 1996 when I was going to college, and it lasted for about a minute, a sleep paralysis. The benefit of going to college or to having something that requires you to focus mentally is that you have that really good focus, and then so that, you know, when you're not focusing on your classes, you can bring that focus to your out-of-body, you know, meditation or to your relaxation and the intention to go out of body. You can bring that intensity. So if you're having tests around test time, that might be a good time for your out-of-body results, because then you have all that energy and intensity. So anything you do in life where you have that intensity and then you can go and relax and meditate and try and go out of body, those are two things that go together. Okay? So later on, my first out-of-body experience, the energy came from my feet to my stomach, and the energy from my head came to my stomach, and I rose out as a ball of energy. So what happened, my first two out-of-body experiences, I rose out as a ball of energy. In Taoism, they talk about the Dantian and cultivating energy, and that happened for me. I'd been reading some of the Taoist books also over the previous 8 months. I don't remember how many months it was, but I started meditating in early spring of 1996, and my first out-of-body experience was later in the winter, before the New Year's. I had my first 2 out-of-body experiences, and I was a ball of energy. Everything from my head all the energy and awareness from my head went down to my stomach area, and all the awareness from my feet came up to my stomach area, and it was a totally quiet and peaceful moment, and I rose out as a ball of energy. over the next several weeks, I learned to create arms and legs and all that, and to move around as a form. But in the first couple out-of-body experiences, I was just energy, you know. So later on, my first out-of-body experience, the energy came up and I rose out as a ball of energy. In Taoism, like Taoism or Daoism, it's an Asian kind of philosophy. They call it the Dantian. I rose up from the Dantian, then re-entered and exited a second time as a ball of energy. And it was totally quiet, totally peaceful. So what else can I tell you about the out-of-body experience? Learning to do it. You should keep a journal. These notes in this book are from a journal I wrote back, from journaling, and from those journals I made some videos a couple of years ago, and what I'm reading to you now is like the words I used, edited and tweaked from those videos I made. So keep a journal. I started a out-of-body journal on GitHub, and these are some edits from the first issue that I published. And so these are my actual journals from 1996, from the persistence that you know, journaling, it'll create like a snowball, or it'll give you motivation to, you know, because you can look back and you can see what you experienced a couple days ago or a few months back, and how you progressed or what you're experiencing now, or you can have different thoughts about what you did in the past. So you should keep a journal and write down if nothing happened. So if you meditated for last night and you woke up this morning and you want to write about it, you can say the date, you can say the day of the week, the time you started meditating, and how long you think you were awake meditating, or sitting or whatever, and what happened. If nothing happened, write nothing happened. If you felt a little energy in your arm or in your legs, or if your legs are starting to merge with the energy in your, like the two legs, if you're laying down and you're aware of both your legs, and sometimes you won't be aware of both legs, it'll just be an area of energy, and you won't notice the delineation or the boundary where the one leg touches the bed or where the one foot touches the other foot. Those areas will start to blend, and you can write that down in your journal. Maybe you might lose awareness of where the bed began and the back of your legs contacted each other, the back of your body on the mattress. If you lost sensation of where that started and stopped, if the two merged, the bed and your back, the sensation of where the boundary was. So in the transition of going out of body, you're kind of bubbling up out off the surface of the skin. You're kind of emerging, losing sensation of where the boundaries are on a physical level and going into a more energetic level. So I'll read that again. So in the transition of going out of body, you're kind of bubbling up off the surface of the skin. You're kind of emerging, losing sensation of where the boundaries are on a physical level, and going into a more energetic level. So the boundaries between your arms and the side of your body, the sensation of where one begins and ends, might merge and disappear, and it might just be one area of energy. So the more you can notice and write those things down after your meditation, then when you're there in the future, you can notice it, and you can also build upon that. So that ends chapter 2 of The Golden One, an out-of-body experience. The reason I call myself Prince Paul is because there are three, I summarized the three stages or levels of out-of-body experiencers. And the third stage is oneness, or when you notice the energy, when you've gone out of body, you've done all these different things, you've met all kinds of beings, and you've had all kind of interesting, amazing experiences. And then you start to notice the energy, at a certain point, you start to notice the energy in another being as the same as the energy that you sense within and about yourself. And that begins the third stage of out-of-body experiences. So, do you have any questions at this point? I might go on to chapter 3 of the book. It's about just the same as long. We're 28 minutes into the show. If if you have any questions, go ahead. You can post them here on the chat. And, you know, I'm going to take a little break. So what's up with you today? Okay, that's fine. No questions at this point. Let's see. I think I'll read a little bit from my journaling from the Out-of-Body Journal first issue that I posted. It's on the GitHub wiki. Okay. Introduction. What follows is 2 years of training to go out of body. In this book, in this journal issue, I've attempted to show the persistence I needed to eventually experience an out-of-body experience. You'll read about the sequence of energetic events and emotional changes that I experienced, which are the foundation of a spiritual awakening. What you'll read in the first experiences, or hear in this case, is the way I wrote them after awakening in my body. And I'll probably, over time, I'll read this whole journal to you. So if you didn't want to read it online, it's here also. First, I'd write the most. What you'll hear in these experiences is the way I wrote them after awakening in my body. So I meditate, have an experience, and then I write down what happened. And first, I write down the most important piece of information that I did not want to forget. Then I'd write down additional pieces of information from my experiences that would come to me while I was writing or after I'd written the most important information. I do this because in order for the information to transfer from your out-of-body body to the physical body, a copy has to be made. Many times the physical brain, memory, ego can delete or fail to copy the incoming out-of-body memories, and by journaling the most important things first, you can at least capture it on paper before too much overshadowing happens. This is just like with a USB stick in your laptop or desktop computer. You can go out of body, you can go out of your house with the USB stick or your phone and record information. Then when you get back home, you can download the information onto your computer with the photos, pictures, and information that you gathered. If files are write protected or there's not enough memory on the USB stick, you're unable to transfer the information memory for some reason. The experience could be lost if to your waking memory in your body. So the ego, what I believe is that in order to go out of body, a copy of your waking state, of your waking mind, has to be made into these other more subtle or higher dimensional, the substance of those dimensions or those states of being. Your mind has to be, you have to make a copy of your mental, your mind into those areas. And then when you come back from the out of body, from your astral body, maybe from your mental body to your astral body, you have to make a copy into your physical body of those same memories. So it's kind of like using a USB stick in your computer. You have to copy the information. And if there's, so you want to copy the most important information first, and once that information has been copied, then you can bring along the other files or the other copies that are less important to you. Because when you wake up in your body, you kind of reactivate other thoughts, and they may prevent the other information from coming through. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to read to you only includes some of my dreams. A bunch of my dreams aren't relevant to out-of-body experiences, so I'm not going to read them to you. So in addition to some of my out-of-body related dreams, I also have incorporated, or I'm going to be reading about the actual out-of-body experiences also. So included in this is going to be experiences with sleep paralysis, lucid dream experiences, and also particularly lucid dream experiences if they transition to an out-of-body waking experience, out-of-body. So I'm almost to the first journaling. The benefit of reading a book like this or listening to something like this is that it gives you a sense of the results of persistence and the types of experiences that can be had if you just keep on at it. So keep on at whatever you're doing to have an experience, because eventually you'll have an experience. So what I'm going to read to you now gives you a look into the life of a meditator. Okay, so I'm going to be probably another half hour I'll be on here. If you have any questions, just post them. All right, so chapter 1. Monday, September 9th, 1996, in the afternoon. I've begun the Monroe tapes and I'm trying to experience an out-of-body experience. I can get great sensations in my forehead, but I'm having difficulty in total relaxation. I established some vibrations with a hand pinpoint method all over my brain. So if you imagine the brain, you can divide it up into different areas, and you can focus your awareness on different areas, and you can kind of activate those areas of the brain. You can think of it as, if you haven't had an out-of-body experience up to this point, you can create new ways and tricks to bring sensation and awareness to different areas of your body to activate the energy in those areas, so that it kind of loosens up your astral or your energetic, etheric areas around the body. And you can get familiar with those areas in an energetic way. Okay? So that's what that's about. I had some success transferring this to the rest of my head, neck, and some of my upper chest. I continued total body relaxation. So that was my write-up from this afternoon of meditating. So that was Monday. Saturday, 9/14/96 in the morning. Last night, I dreamt of completely going out of body. It happened in a room while other people were trying to do this too. I used some sort of vibrational method. I put my hand through a wall and was excited. I fell asleep meditating. All right, Saturday, 9/21/96. So about a week later, I dreamt I went out of body last night. I'd gone to sleep meditating. Now I have to try and not get so excited at having gone out of body and wake up and write it down, maintain conscious control. So again, this is writing the next day about what happened the previous night. So when you get out of body, you get really excited, and that excitement, that emotion of moving your body and being excited. But if you get excited while you're out of body, you're still kind of connected thought-wise to your body, and that'll bring you right back into your body. So you have to learn to you might be excited when you get out of body, but you have to learn to focus that excitement and just be kind of chill. You got to chill out, and so that you can stay out of body longer. You don't want to do things that'll bring you back into your body too quickly, because then you don't get to experience stuff out of body. All right. So next journal entry was Wednesday, 10/2/96 in the morning. I meditated with a certain music exercise and fell asleep last night. I must be more consciously aware and reactive during sleep cycles and dreams. So I'm writing to myself, If something doesn't seem to work and you're seemingly wholly focused on doing something, consider your being in the dreams. Consider the fact that you might be dreaming. Ask yourself if you really need this. Is there anything else in your being that contradicts such a thinking process? What is the long-term goal of such an action? So it's not very clear. You might be hearing that and it doesn't make any sense. It's all right. Tuesday in the morning, when I consciously woke up this morning, I realized that my body was paralyzed. Instead of fighting to move, I waited a second for the rest of my being to enter the physical body and then was able to move. Was I out of body? It seems that I should pay more attention to the top of my head to expedite having a conscious out-of-body experience and move more into the void. Last night, I also recognized the dream as a dream and affected its outcome. So this is still some of the beginning early experiences for me before my first out-of-body experience. Friday, October 18th, 1996. Last night I meditated. I experienced Focus 12, which is it's a little bit beyond relaxation. And the Monroe Institute has these focus levels. They've labeled different areas of relaxation and awareness with different focus levels. It goes from Focus 1 would be your awake state when you're waking in your body. And Focus 10 would be where everything's relaxed, deep relaxation. And focus 12 is a little bit beyond that, where you're starting to tap into kind of a free flow or a free associative state. And focus 15 would be like where you're not aware of anything, but you're in awareness. And then it goes up to 21 and then higher than that. So last night I meditated, I experienced focus 12 on mental cue. During focus 12, while expanding consciousness, my left hand moved twice. Why? I think it occurred near the switch to a dominant unconscious. Focus and explore the conscious-unconscious relationship. So what I'm saying there is that as you go deeper into relaxation and meditation, you'll notice different things that happen to your physical body. Your breathing might change, and something in your body might start twitching, or your eye might twitch, or your deltoid muscle might twitch. And for you might have specific things that happen that will kind of cue you into that you're at a certain level in the progress of your relaxation, which is pretty interesting. So Wednesday, October 30th, 1996. I meditated last night with a nonverbal with a specific exercise, and I remained conscious throughout the tape. So there's a binaural beat that I was listening to. And then I went to sleep. During the tape, I opened Focus 10 without getting or inducing strong forehead sensations. So I got there without triggering these physical sensations. So you don't always have to have these certain physical cues that happen to reach a state that's deeper. It's good to have those in the beginning so that you can kind of notice progress or experience things with your physical body in relation to relaxation. But you can also just skip through those as you progress. So it was more like a non-feeling emptiness. I had several short duration dreams of talking with an animal. So I had some dreams also. Monday, November 4th, 1996, in the morning. Identify who I am. Don't accept the situation and try to have it come out the way I want. So I'm writing things for myself so that when I'm there in the future I might notice. Look in a mirror and see if I recognize my face or my surroundings and friends. So that's an important, kind of an interesting cue, because later on I had an out-of-body experience where I was in another body and I looked in a mirror. And I was in an Asian some Asian guy's body, and he was drunk. But I guess he was out of body, and I'd come into his physical body and was moving around. And I just found myself in another body. So look in a mirror if you can, if you remember to. Friday, November 22nd, 1996 in the afternoon. Last night, when I dressed the body, which I share as it's called living matter. It's like your astral body. You can call it different things. So when I dressed this body, transitioning to a more focused state was achieved. So you can be in your physical body relaxing, and you can kind of learn what the energy, the astral body, or the other energies are that you start to notice while you're laying on your bed. Things start to sway and move, and then you can kind of mentally relate to that in certain ways. So. I seem to awake. Okay, so I'm just making notes about what I'm noticing and starting. The mental tricks you start to do. Okay, so Wednesday, December 4th, 1996. I just finished reading Soul Traveler by Albert Taylor, who states that a feeling of falling backwards may accompany the onset of paralysis. I've experienced some kind of falling backwards feeling, including last night, but have interrupted the feeling. I interrupted it. I will try experiencing this longer in duration. So again, I'm reading from my journal from 1996 before I eventually, pretty soon into this, within the month that I'm reading to you, I had my first out-of-body experience. So, and then I have a note here. I have a note here. See, it says, on March 12th, 1997 in the morning, I experienced sleep paralysis, falling backwards into the floor for real. It's like backing out of the body slowly and methodically. Friday, December 8th, 1996 in the morning. I just had my first conscious and intentional out-of-body experience. So you can have out-of-body experiences, and you can notice yourself out of body, but then you can also lay down, start to relax and meditate, or do whatever technique you have, and then from that meditation state or from that relaxation state, you can have an out-of-body experience. So I call that a conscious, intentional out-of-body experience, because you lay down, you had the intention of having an experience, you had the experience, you return to your body, and then you remember what happened. And then you can write it down too. So I call that a conscious, intentional out-of-body experience. So on December 8th, 1996, I had my first conscious and intentional out-of-body experience. I had a ball-shaped out-of-body form, and I exited from the stomach. I rose from my body, re-entered, and exited a few times, and noticed a pitched layer sound on leaving the body. So I noticed some change in the sound as I left as a ball of energy from my Dantian, or the stomach area, and I re-entered. And I did that a few times. I exited and I re-entered as a ball of energy. And it was totally quiet, and it took me like an hour to get into that state. So I tried going to a guide and began going somewhere, but my thoughts wandered, and I perceived no one. So I didn't go anywhere, I didn't meet anyone. Total time out of body seemed like 5 minutes. So again, that was my first out of body experience. I woke up this morning, and then I wrote the most important thing first, and now I write some other things that kind of relate to that same thing. I woke up this morning at 7:45 in the morning, took a shower, read my email, listened to the TV news, drank some water, went to the bathroom, and then went to get some sleep. My feet were north, my head was pointing south. So I wasn't getting a comfortable position and kept moving around. I finally settled down with my hands on my stomach and left whatever images, worries, thoughts pass on and go. Then I followed the rising and falling of my stomach, and then when I thought I could, I lifted from my body. I was on my back and was laying on the floor, no mattress. So my hands were actually on my stomach in that experience. And I was on my back, I was on the floor. So this is the second thing I wrote about that experience. And the third thing I wrote about that experience was excellent, cool. It took a while to get past my thoughts and connect to the world. And my thoughts and connections. It took a while to leave the mental agitation and get relaxed enough. I used the thoughts of loving everyone in a box with all my, to put all my thoughts into like an imaginary box and let them go. It took approximately an hour from the time of laying down in bed on the floor without a mattress and re-entering and writing this down. So it took me a while to enter that state in the beginning for my first out-of-body experience. I didn't use any procedures. The reason I could go and rest on a Friday, so this was on a Friday. The reason I could do that in the morning on a Friday was because I had a course in the evening, and I didn't have anything in the morning. So again, I was going to college at the time. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead. I'm going to read maybe 2 more pages from this journal, and we'll talk a little bit more. Monday, December 16, 1996. So that first out-of-body experience was on the 8th, and I think I was meditating or almost every night, and so that's persistence. And about a week later, on the 16th, I had a dream and became semi-lucid, so like a lucid dream experience, and I experienced paralysis. So the paralysis was real, and it was also integrated into a dream. So my first paralysis experience again was in 1996, and after the new year in 1996, and now I'm writing again in December of 1996 about a sleep paralysis experience I had. So before in my life, I'd never had sleep paralysis up to that point, and just in the early of 1996, I had my first paralysis experience where my body was asleep, but my mind was awake. And what I believe now is that I was in between the out-of-body state and the in-body state. So I hadn't fully integrated into my physical body, so I couldn't move yet, but I was awake and alert. And I think when you develop to the point where you can have awareness without moving your body, That's a little bit, that's kind of evolved. So that's pretty good when you can start to have awareness, conscious awareness of the sleep paralysis state. So it's not necessarily something to be afraid of. Okay? So that was from December 16th, 1996. So my next journal entry is Friday, January 3rd, 1997, morning, 7:45 a.m. So this is how you could journal yourself. I woke up this morning, took a shower, went to the toilet, watched 10 seconds of TV to make sure the world wasn't at war, then went to meditate. So 7:45 in the morning, I'm waking up, I'm getting excited about meditating, and I go to it. I relaxed throughout the eye and became engulfed. I eventually became aware of two kids playing in the room. Next, I was out of body, and just as the final separation of the head was about to occur, one of the kids jumped towards me, and in my surprise at what the kid was doing, I ceased separation and jerked quickly back into the body. So here I am, I'm starting to go out of body, everything raises out, I think, except for my head, and then just as the final separation of the head was about to occur, so I guess at that point my whole body was out except for my head, and as my head was leaving, I was starting to see other people in the room, and there were some kids there, and then I guess they were jumping around and trying to pull me out of body or something, and I came back into my body because I was kind of scared, I didn't know what was going on. Separation began from the bottom of the body up. I was on a mattress with my head facing east and my feet west. So my head was facing east in this situation, my feet were facing west. I had two covers over me, two blankets, I guess, and total meditation time before separation was about 20 minutes. After I initially laid down, I became aware of some water in my ears, but ignored it, and it went away. I was quite comfortable and relaxed, and I didn't move. My hands were at my sides in a semi-clenched manner to relax the head. I drew imaginary horizontal and vertical lines over the whole head and then let them sink in. So these are different techniques you can do. You can draw lines of energy around your body and then you can let them sink in. You can activate areas of your brain. Okay, different things. So we're 10 minutes in, 10 minutes left till this show. I'll probably do an hour total. So Wednesday, January 8, 1997, 10:38 p.m. I had a dream where I fought to gain entrance to a body. So I tried to get back into a body. A girl was pulling me for some reason, and I was trying to get my energyless body to maintain my position. So someone was pulling me, and I was trying to get back into a body. And these are my notes. I've been experiencing constant focus levels throughout. Okay, during the day when I wasn't meditating, I was experiencing different states in my head and also with my awareness. So there are different times while you're starting to meditate and activate different energies in your body, you'll start to notice throughout the day, you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel these certain energies that are similar to what I experience when I'm meditating, and it's kind of interesting. So I experienced Focus 10, which is a deep relaxation, Focus 12, Focus 15, and Focus 17. The day has been pleasant. So Sunday, January 18th, 1997, in the afternoon at 2:30 p.m., I wrote this. In the morning, I had a flotation movement dream again. I was like a dream where I was floating, like past moonwalking experiences, where my motion is slow, but reactions are all waking speed. So you ever have these experiences where you're like moonwalking, where everything's slow, but you're alert at you're aware of everything, but you can't move fast. So I woke from this experience with the touching of my hand to my waist. What I think that was and is that we can have these we can move around in the etheric body, the energy of the cells. That is some people call it the etheric body, and it's a slower moving body. And it usually stays close to your physical body. And just the next level after the etheric body is the astral body. So the astral body, you can move quick and you can flip and you can go different places, but the etheric body is a very slow moving body because it's the energy of your cells the physical cells in your body, and they don't want to leave. They don't want to go very far from your physical body, because that energy is keeping the cells alive. It's like the prana of your food and stuff like that. So, like if you cut a flower, it only lasts a couple days maybe, because you've cut off the energy to its physical form. So earlier around 3 a.m. this morning, I experienced a swaying of the spirit and the body, which I woke from and attribute to a semi in and out of physical experience. So on January 18th of 1997, I started experiencing some swaying of the astral and the prana bodies. Earlier, I woke from a dream. I experienced paralysis within the dream. So this is like within a week after that other paralysis experience, or within a month of I'm having another sleep paralysis experience. So I woke from a dream. I experienced paralysis within the dream. I methodically regained movement ability and woke on full movement. So eventually I was able to move my body. I used the pinky method. So some people think if you move your pinky, you'll be able to regain entry into your physical body after sleep paralysis. So I was very calm in gaining physical ability. So a bunch of times I'd be scared and kind of pissed off that I can't move and there's sleep paralysis. You're paralyzed, but you're awake. But in this time I wasn't. I was kind of calm and chill. So conclusion, I've been wanting to understand more clearly the out-of-body and paralysis states. It's becoming more clear. I want to continue this exciting study, and all three experiences were lucid. I want to more consciously understand the subjects, the people I meet, and the experiences I have. Beings should not have to appear human. I'm ready. So I guess up to this point, I really hadn't met anyone out of body. Again, at this point, I'm probably a stage 1 out-of-body experiencer, and I'm staying within my house. And I'm just learning to go out of body, learning some of the different experiences I might have. I'm learning to go through walls, and I'm learning some of the laws, some of the ways this new dimension works and functions. So Wednesday, January 21st, 1997, in the morning at 9:16 a.m. So if you have a clock, or after your experience, you go and you see what time it is, so that you can kind of gauge how long you meditated, and you can start to track things. So I went to meditate. I explored the state of paralysis. I also heard a man's voice guiding me. However, in the end, I didn't listen and woke myself up. I also had many visions during this time. Real or created, I'm not sure, although I seemed lucid throughout the period. So a few times I've heard someone talking, and I really didn't listen to any of those people, because it's just not something I was into. I don't want to have someone telling me, speaking in my head or stuff like that. So I didn't really listen or remember anything that person said. Friday, January 24th, 1997 in the morning. So I'm going to finish this page. I'm at the top of the page, and I'm going to read through the bottom and finish this section. Friday, January 24th, 1997 in the morning. Just as I must get accustomed to the light upon waking in the morning, so must I get accustomed to the soul light. So there's things to get accustomed to out of body, okay? So Tuesday, January 28th, 1997. I went to sleep last night at 8:30 p.m., woke at 12:44 after midnight from a lucid dream, and meditated until 3 a.m. I experienced sleep paralysis. Okay? Wednesday, January 29th, 1997. At 9 p.m. I started meditating. I got very comfortable. I was able to extend my arms as well as my right leg non-physically. I eventually fell asleep. So my arms and my right leg, I got them out of body. It was a partial out of body experience. I wasn't completely out of body. Thursday, January 3rd, 1997 in the morning. 2:50 a.m. I woke up, went to the bathroom. 3 a.m. So I stayed up about 10 minutes. At 3 a.m. I just went consciously out of body. I was positioned head east, landing on my side. So at this time I was laying on my side, and I was able to go out of body. I soared into the sky and couldn't think of anything to do. I tried touching my hands together and did. It was weird. Re-entry was quick, but it took another 30 seconds from there to be able to move. Total time out of body, maybe 5 minutes. So that was at 3 a.m. 3:52 a.m. I started separation and tried going somewhere before completing separation. As a result, I heard some different sounds in my ears. I ended up trying to go out of body, but ended up in the body. I jumped the gun. I was on my stomach with my hands just underneath my waist, head pointing east. So I had had one out of body in the morning, and then I tried to go out of body again, and I was able to almost go out of body. I started experiencing something, and I jumped the gun. But I was on my stomach at that point. Again, so a different day, Saturday. Saturday, a few days later, 2 days later, 11:44 a.m., February 1st, 1997. Thoughts. When in a lucid state or experience the whole, focus on the change, expand all hints of awareness. Experience the whole. So I'm writing some guidance to myself about things that I feel I should be doing. So when I'm dreaming or in a lucid dream, try to cue myself to experience more or experience the whole. So, okay. Sunday, February 2nd, 1997, in the afternoon, 12:30 p.m. I went out of body. I meditated. I lifted out from the feet to the head. I was on my stomach. When the separation of my head was occurring, I used my non-physical hands to push down and quicken the separation. My head was facing north. So I started experiencing a separation, and once my hands were out of body, I pushed the rest of my body out. I went outside into the light. Initially on leaving, I saw my body. So I looked back and I saw my body. I was excited. After going outside, I got confused at where I was. Thus, I returned to my body. I hurriedly tried to reconnect without using much intellect. So, thus, it took longer to re-enter. Instead of just entering the body, I tried to think about how to enter the body, and it took longer. While out, I saw a hawk and some people. So I guess this is maybe the first time I've seen like an animal, and I saw some people for the first time. So I'm starting to enter the second stage of out-of-body experiences. I also moved around and within some big building with more than one floor. So I was in a building also. Monday, February 3rd, 1997 in the morning, 8:40 a.m. I started a new sleep cycle. 3 hours of sleep followed by 9 hours of wake. So I tried a new cycle for my sleep to try to maybe trigger some new experiences. And the next thing is is at the bottom of the page. I'll read this last paragraph. Wednesday in the morning, February 12th, 1997, 6:25 a.m. Last night I meditated. I went to from focus 1 to 21 and back to, so I moved around in my relaxation, and I had the intention of going out of body. When I entered focus 15, or like the void, when I entered the void, I was laying on my right side. My hands merged into the sides of my body. My feet up to the right knee and left calf were swaying in the non-physical. So my hand merged into the side of my body. I couldn't notice where my hand started and my body started. And my calves, my legs were starting to sway in the non-physical. My head was pointing east. I experienced this and tried to disconnect completely, but it didn't happen. I feel that I know how to reach this state again through meditation. I've been aware of energy flash waves, so energy moving, like flashes of energy moving through the body, and the swaying of different areas of my body. Energetically, when you're relaxing, you can notice the energy start to move. I've also been able to perceive the awareness of multiple reality, so pulses of energy. I started to notice different things with energy. So that's it for tonight for reading from my journal from 1996 and 1997. I'm going to be maybe another 5 minutes. I can talk about anything you like to talk about, and I'll just summarize things for today. So this is, I've wanted to kind of share more and more. On the Discord, there's some links by Earl Nightingale, and he talks about it's motivational things that you might want to watch some of those videos by Earl Nightingale. You can also find him on YouTube. And this is just some of the sharings. I care about out-of-body experiences, and I'm creating these materials and interacting with you here because I'd like to hear about your stories. You can contribute your own videos, and I'll post them here on this channel, and I'll also post them on the Out-of-Body Journal, just like you would read about the Journal of Nature or the journal, some kind of science journal, or every industry has a journal or has like a professional thing that you can go to, and you can read about some of the cutting edge things in the field, but also just some of the, it's a place for people to gather and to share stuff. So I've created this Out-of-Body Journal on GitHub, and eventually there'll be an Out-of-Body Journal website, but on GitHub I've created a wiki, or almost like a web page, where you can contribute your own articles, and you can also send me information by email, and you can post anything, any comments here on YouTube. And I'm just, eventually I'll interview people also. If you'd like to interview me, that's also cool, we can do that. But if you interview other people, or if you know of other interesting stuff in the out-of-body or the multi-dimensional field, send me a link, and I'll try and incorporate it here. If you'd like to become a moderator of any of this stuff, let me know. Or if you have skills of your own, or if you're some kind of intuitive or psychic, or any other kind of world information, if you'd like to share anything, contact me or send me a link of your stuff, and we'll find a way to communicate. All right. Well, my name is Paul Makos, or Prince Paul Makos. I use the word Prince again because I've had the third stage of out-of-body experiences where I've experienced the oneness. And you can call yourself Prince whatever, and or Princess. My motivation for you and for this stuff is to get it out there more into the world. I mean, kids today and adults and everybody should, I think, even in the most advanced civilizations of the past and the current civilizations, and even other civilizations on other planets, the people and the beings there, they have different levels of awareness, but with all their technology, or with all their learning and advancements in their own civilizations, they may not be aware of the oneness yet, or even of the out-of-body experience. So when people become aware of the out-of-body experience, it opens up a lot of different things. For me, it was a life transformative. Like a point in my life when many things changed, and a lot of good things happened. And for many of you who are having out-of-body experiences, you have all these good things happening also. Now, a lot of crap's going to happen also, because your life's going to change, and the people you interact with and enjoy hanging out with is going to change. But you can you can improve your food, you can improve your relationships, and you can have a more meaningful life, because you learn that life is more than the life that you're currently leading. If you've never had any spiritual experiences or any kind of awakening or out-of-body experiences, then you don't give any credibility or importance to multiple dimensions, or other lives and stuff like that. And what you learn is, and what your feelings change, and you start to care about more things. So that's why I'm sharing the out-of-body stuff, and it's one of the most exciting things in my life. And it's been about 22 years. I'm 42 right now, and we're in February of 2019. So 22 years since my first out-of-body experience, and it's consistently been something I care about. I think teachers, it would be great if more people knew about it. Even in the most advanced civilizations, you could say that if Atlantis existed, or Lemuria, maybe their downfall, when they had their catastrophes, is because they hadn't yet realized the oneness, or the connectivity, or the sameness of the being in me that's in you, and in all the beings. And so that's the oneness. And it's just it's like an extreme of along the same, okay, I have a picture here in the book. If you haven't seen this picture yet, this is, if you imagine a sphere of energy, and that encompasses the whole universe. At one end of the sphere is the personality, or the individual. At the other extreme of awareness, this whole line is awareness, because it's all one being. At the other extreme of this line is the oneness, and beyond the oneness is the one being. It's all one being. And you can be aware of just, you can let go of your mind and your personality, and you can go deep into relaxation. Again, you can just be thought and awareness, and eventually you can connect with more and more of your being, and then you can notice your energy all over, and that's the oneness, and that's the connectivity. So it's all you, and you can have all these experiences all over the universe and on this planet, on other planets, and that's between the two extremes of when you're in your physical body with your personality, you're not aware of all this other stuff. But when you go out of body, you can interact and you can experience all these different things all around your one being. Because, okay, if you ever have a thought that if you see someone doing something and you say, oh, I'd like to experience that, also know that that is you in that other body doing that and experiencing it right now. So you are having that experience right now in that other body. So again, all over the universe, you in all these many bodies are having all these experiences right now. You are all over the universe in every body having all these experiences. And as you go out of body, you can become more and more aware of all these different beings and bodies that you're in, and you can simultaneously be aware and alert of all these different beings, and you can start to have more and more memories of that you normally don't have when you're in your physical body, because you start connecting with more of your other memories and more of your other minds. And then you can enter a state of with no form. Like when you go out of body, you can have arms and legs, but then you can enter like maybe the mental state more toward the oneness, where you don't have a form and you're just thought and being. And that thought and being can enter like through a bliss state into like a more and more. And the more you can maintain awareness into the bliss and notice differences and distinctions, the more you can become aware of the oneness, okay? You can also have this oneness experience in your body while sitting. It's called Vipassana, sitting meditation. But it takes many hours and many days to start to still the mind, the thoughts spinning around the body, to the point where you can start to move energy through your body. And if you take a 10-day Vipassana meditation course, you can start to experience some of those things while you're in your body. So you can experience oneness in your body, but you can also experience it out of body. All right? So that wraps it up. If you have any thoughts, if you just post them in the chat, I'll look for them here on my computer. And I wish you a good week. I'll probably be back next week. And take care. Thanks for watching. And have a good rest of your day.